All right, I think we're going. Welcome back to another one of these things. We're just kind of talking about whatever comes to mind. Hope you're having a wonderful Monday. We've got another start to the week. Had a day that was kind of like, feel like I did a lot of things, but have almost nothing to show for it. I had to go make a bunch of, just to kind of make me feel better about myself, make a bunch of cards in Trello for all of the stuff that I did that I felt had value, but all I really had to show for it was like a social media post, and it was just like a question and a few notes on stuff that I had found while researching, and it wasn't like particularly enlightening stuff. It's just like, come back here when you've made another decision, because really all today was a bunch of research, which like might be worth sharing if I didn't have something else that I wanted to talk about today. Maybe I'll come back to that. I was basically looking through finding business law firms near me and differences in licenses for code. So very, very interesting things. Basically, really looking forward to later in the week when I can actually start doing code. And I did like good design work today. I was able to put together some, like, just translating more stuff from notes, having a better idea for what I want to build, and I'm like really, really just itching to just start making the thing. But gotta dot all my I's and cross my T's now. I don't want to mess up and have a problem later or something. So that's all fun. Anyway, unrelated, completely unrelated to that. So, thing that I wanted to talk about today was I had a moment, I guess, this weekend that was kind of interesting. It's different for me. So I have historically had a very good handle on my dreams. So when I'm dreaming or when I wake up, I generally have a decent understanding of what I was dreaming of, if I recall dreaming it at all. That isn't to say I know all of the dreams that I have. I don't. I know that there are things that I dream about that I don't remember. They just didn't register. I have no visualization or memory of the thing. But dreams where I do play sort of an active role, in them, I tend to remember fairly well. Except for one of them that happened this weekend. And I'm pretty sure I was having a dream about being in a meeting, talking with somebody, which is odd. The only people I've been having meetings with is myself lately. And I woke up, and I was in this state of not quite awake, which I do also tend to do. I also, in addition to remembering my dreams fairly well, I'm also a lucid dreamer. I know when I'm in a dream and can take control of it. I also have a really, really, I don't want to call it a problem, but a very big sleepwalking, sleep talking issue, I suppose. I do a fair amount of talking and occasionally just acting in my sleep, to the point where when I was younger, it was not uncommon for me to just wake up and go into the bathroom and grab my toothbrush and toothpaste and start brushing my teeth, and then go talk to somebody who's in another room at the time, and I'm sleeping. Or taking a stuffed animal that I had and putting it in the oven, or a blanket or something and leaving it there, and my parents finding that thing hanging out of the oven or something in the morning. Not uncommon for me. I, for some reason, keep very fine motor skills when I am sleeping, and I am also able to talk with people generally. You can ask me a question and I'll generally answer it, as long as it doesn't go against whatever I'm dreaming about, or you call into question whether or not I'm sleeping. I don't know how to answer that when I'm sleeping, or like a part of me doesn't want to admit that I'm sleeping. So that's like one way to get me out of it. The other is to like actually just hit me or something. That has happened before, where my mom has just hit me, and I went back to bed. Probably because I said something totally out of line. I probably deserved it. But like to that degree, I remember things that I'm doing in my dreams a lot, and I had this interesting phenomenon where I had woken up. I was in a point where I was sleep talking, or somebody who saw me would know that I was sleep talking. I didn't know at the time, and I was actually awake and talking. Like, I didn't have anything really to say. I wasn't talking with anybody or thinking about anything. It was taking whatever I was talking about in my dream, and then I just kept doing it in reality. So I just wake up, sit up in bed, and start talking about whatever it was that I was dreaming about. And I'd be okay with talking. I recognized that I was talking. But as soon as any part of that like was called into question, just me thinking, it's like, what am I saying? Why am I saying it? What is the context for me saying this thing? I'd immediately not know what it was that I was saying or doing previously. As someone who, when I'm dreaming, like the fact that I still remember that I was talking with people in a meeting surprises me, because I can't remember what I was talking about, despite actually saying words. I know I said words, like when I woke up. I can't remember what those words are. They just fell out of my brain entirely. I don't remember them at all, which is very odd. And when I try to recall what I was saying, or what I was thinking of prior to saying something, it's a complete blank. Like, I'm thinking about it right now, and it's one of the weirdest phenomena. I don't know what it was I was dreaming about, or what it was I was thinking about, or what it was I was saying, despite saying the words that I was saying. I had said something and can't remember what I had said seconds ago. I was saying something that I knew was a part of a conversation I had been having for what felt like probably 10 to 15 minutes prior in my dream. Could have been seconds, but it felt like 15 minutes. And when I do have that sense of time that maintains in my brain, I still remember it as 15 minutes of conversation, even if it was just dreaming for a few seconds. And I don't recall that. I didn't keep that association coming out of that dream, even though I had some mental handoff. Like, something about Dream Me just went, here you go, and keep going. And me in reality kept going with it for a little bit. But as soon as I thought about it, all of it was gone. I don't know what it feels like to have a memory that is gone at some point. I don't feel like people generally have that sensation. It's always something I've wondered, kind of how it feels. Like, there are things that happened to me in the past that I don't know anymore, that I don't recall. My memory of them is gone. It's missing completely. It might as well not have happened, other than to build up who I am today. I'm the sum of a bunch of experiences, some of which I remember and some of which I don't. But I don't know. As people, we don't know. If there are people who know this and like experience this, I'd love to talk with you, because that is just completely fascinating. That the moment you forget something, the moment that you no longer have that memory, that you lose that connection of synapses that equates to remembering something, or knowing a smell, or having a nostalgic response to something, or knowing something somebody said or that you said to somebody else. I'd love to know, or to talk with somebody who has felt that before, because that is generally the feeling I had this weekend. The active feeling of forgetting something is the best way I can describe it. I knew seconds prior, I knew that I was going to say something, that I was saying something, and some blip, some moment in those seconds, I couldn't remember it anymore. It's gone. There's nothing I can do to pull that back. Every time Heather was asking me what it was I was talking about, I couldn't. It was like, normally when I'm trying to remember something, there's all these sort of, this feeling of I'm piecing together a puzzle, and I'm slowly getting back to what it is that I had forgotten, which was not the sensation here. The sensation isn't I'm trying to remember something. It's this is where it was. It's not here anymore. We have found the space in your brain where this piece of information should be, and it's missing. That's the feeling. And it's a weird feeling. And I don't know if that's like a sign that, yes, I will probably have something like Alzheimer's in the future, where I just slowly lose those synapses naturally. Except in the future, I won't know that I lost them. Just like what people deal with memory in general. It's, you just have a prolonged degradation to the point where you haven't needed it for a long time, therefore it's gone. I mean, it might be on some kind of cold line storage, and you might smell something or hear something that's just like, aha, that thing. And that still happens with people who have memory issues into old age too. That's why music and smells are some of the most powerful things to sort of getting somebody you know, or that you knew at a certain point, to enter a state that you're familiar with, that you know them from. Like, there are certain things that we respond to, certain sensory things that we respond to better than others. So it was just interesting. It was interesting because I remember saying that to Heather when we were talking. It's like, I was just like, I don't know what Alzheimer's feels like, but this feels like what it would feel like if you knew it was happening to you. It's not, we're trying to piece together where this information is. It's, we found where it is, and it isn't. And it's weird. It is very weird. If anybody does happen to come across this and this video and has had a similar experience, I'd love to hear about it, genuinely, because as candidly as I'm talking about this, the more I thought about it, the more terrifying it is. Like, I don't want to actively know when there are holes in my brain. I would rather those things degrade over time and I just generally lose the ones that I haven't needed after a while. The sensation of knowing that this is where the information is or should be, and it not being there, and there's nothing you can do about it, is a bit terrifying. And hopefully I don't wake up in those states terribly often, because having to go through that again is weird. Because especially in that moment, you're like, are there other things that I can't remember in this instant? I happen to have been able to find one thing where it is impossible for me to remember what I was doing. And what else went with it? What else was next to that? Is there damage next to this that I need to be aware of? And yeah, it's a weird sensation, to say the least. Not sure what I'll call this video yet, but I think that's really about it. I just wanted to share that story. It is just weird. It's I'm not used to that sensation. As somebody who, I wouldn't say I have the greatest memory in the world, but I remember my dreams. I'm notoriously good at that. And it's weird waking up from one immediately and having a sensation of, I can't find it. Especially when I was literally saying things from the dream when I found myself awake. And I was saying things off of the tail end of sentences from those dreams, and I couldn't remember. I couldn't remember the words that I had just said. I can't think of them now. I couldn't think of them then. It's so weird. Anyway, on that, whatever note that is, we'll call it at that. So I hope you had an interesting weekend, one where you were able to retain all of the memories of the things that you had experienced or thought of. Yeah, hope you're having a good Monday. And we'll catch you in the next one. See ya.